Alright, here we are. If I get my finger out of the way. In the Airplane Museum. I'll just pan here and then I'll kind of do what I did, walk around, but again, just incredible. These are the airplanes, also zero time. We'll walk by that Ford tri-motor, but I've seen that actual airplane fly before. Penn Store guy, my vice president back in the day, has flown that at air shows. Here is the one and the only Spruce Goose. Howard Hughes's massive airplane. I mean, essentially it goes from one end of this museum to the other. And I'll just kind of go up here. I'm under kind of the back of the wing, but it has 4 engines. And the wing is so large that they actually had a man, when the few times they ran it, and the one time it flew, sitting in the wing, one man behind each engine in the wing, with fire extinguishers and monitoring the oil. They had 50-gallon oil drums sitting behind each engine to feed the oil. And I don't know if you could get a sense of, you can see where you can go inside of it there, but how big this thing is. But it's not in weight or bigger than a 747, but actual dimensions bigger than a 747 today. Just, and all made out of wood, because that was what was available in World War II. The contract with the government said you can build it out of anything you want as long as it's not metal. Here's a lot of the other, some small aircraft, and like I said, we don't have a lot of time here. We're here on business, so I don't have all day to film, but here's just some engines, radial engines, and you can kind of see, well, you can see Mo there. Hey Mo. You can see different examples, different size engines. Now you got an inline here. Just incredible what this guy has put together. This is privately held. This is this guy's museum. He owns it. He owns the airline, he owns the helicopter company, as well as a lot of other things, banks and this and that and the other, but it's all his. This is not government funded. This is privately funded, every penny of it. It's a replica of the Wright Flyer. And I'm just going to do what I did before and just kind of walk around and do the best I can.
She would like to say a word with you.
Would you like me to take a picture of you with the goose as your background?
You know, I've got my buddy here with me. I don't want to ruin the film with me in it, to be honest, but I sure appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
I'll break the camera if you film me. But thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have him probably do it, but I really...
Get right about in here,
okay.
You should be able to get the fuselage and 4 engines.
Absolutely right. Yep, I was trying to figure out what the good angle. Yep, I can see the fuselage, the cockpit, and all 4 engines. And you really don't have a sense of how big this is, I'm saying on the video, without something next to it. I mean, I didn't realize how big it was until I actually saw it here. It's just massive.
You'll have to look at that cradle that it's sitting in. It is just huge.
Yeah, I think we'll walk over there and I'll film that. But yeah, this is an amazing museum you guys have here.
Thank you. Where are you visiting from?
From Denver, Colorado.
Oh, well, you need writer's rights in.
Yeah.
I'll let you be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, we could hear that. There it comes. Ah, the smell of jet fuel. The only thing that beats it is napalm in the morning. That's a joke. So I'm just walking up to the Spruce Goose. The real McCoy. Not a replica, the real deal. Del Smith buys the Spruce Goose. Del Smith buys an SR-71. Del Smith, well, it's just incredible. Just some stuff about the airplane. Picture Mr. Hughes, as in Howard Hughes, one of my, I guess, heroes as a kid. I mean, what a guy. An engineer, a pilot, a test pilot, made movies, built companies, playboy. I mean, there's nobody like Howard Hughes now. I don't care if you're talking about Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Steven Spielberg. Howard Hughes was kind of all of those people wrapped into one guy. He did all of that. He made movies, he made airplanes, he flew stuff, he designed airplanes, he flew the airplanes he designed, he broke records, he built that Spruce Goose. Here's that Ford trimotor I was talking about, and obviously why they call it a trimotor, kind of an unusual design with the two engines under the wing there, and then the one in the nose. And actually a very good airplane in its day. Used a lot. It was the first kind of long-range passenger airplane. You can see the windows here, and people, this is what you got on when you flew on an airline. Back in the, I would say 30s. Extremely expensive to fly there. You can see, like I mentioned about the cars and era, so this car being associated with the era of this airplane. Beautiful DC-3 or C-47, the military version there. Nice and shiny. Hopefully this walking around is working. But it's kind of all I can do, and I thought rather than taking single individual pictures that I'd just do what I'm doing here. I don't have really a lot of time. And one of my favorite airplanes for obvious reasons, the B-17, what Papa flew in Germany, 20-some missions. Barbara, for my birthday last summer, actually got to go up and fly in a B-17. It was an amazing experience for obvious reasons, With Papa, I took his coat, his flight jacket with me, and I sat in his position and sat in every position in the aircraft, including the bubble there, the glass bubble, which was a great place to fly in an airplane. Just unbelievably solid airplane. It was a very turbulent day and windy that day with thunderstorms building up. This airplane was more solid than a 737. I mean, it did not move around at all. It felt like you were like a lead brick. I mean, it was just blew my mind how solid it flew, how nice it flew. Another icon. Everybody knows what that is, and if you don't know squat about aviation. That's a P-51. That aircraft is flyable right now. You could pull it out of this hangar, put some gas in it, and fly it. It's what's called zero-timed, which means it's essentially like if it came off the factory showroom floor. The back end of the Spruce. And that little single engine aircraft there is actually kind of an iconic airplane. It's the Bonanza V-tail. Originally built in the 60s. Its claim to fame, it killed a lot of doctors. A lot of guys, doctors and lawyers that had more money than experience in flying airplanes and get themselves in bad trouble. They could afford an airplane that they really weren't qualified to fly and end up killing themselves. They called that the doctor killer. But anyway, it's a great airplane, the Bonanza. V-tail Bonanza. Unique. You can see the way the tails go up in the back as opposed to straight with a vertical tail with a rudder on it. That V was both the elevator and horizontal stabilizer as well as the rudder. It kind of operated or served the purpose of both. There's just all kinds of iconic stuff here. Mo kept asking, where do you get this stuff, or how did he get it? And I guess the answer is money. If you have money and enough of it, and this has got to be a lot of money in this museum, it's got to be hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, these buildings are beautiful. Just Like I said, you can eat off the floor. I don't know if you can tell from this video, but everything is so clean. It's just incredible. What a nice job he's done with this. I mean, you'd think a private museum, it'd be great to have this stuff in the museum. But how, I mean, it's funded by people showing up, and there aren't a lot of people here. And we got in for free, of course, because we're doing some business with the airline. But this isn't about money. This is about somebody's love of aviation and doing it right, whether they're paying for it out of their own pocket or not. I'm just going to walk around, do the best I can, like I said. My arm's starting to go numb from holding this thing, trying to hold it. Wow, 11-minute video. But it's just trying to give some sense of what this museum's all about, or these museums. I mean, I don't know if you can see out the window there, but I mean, they got F-15 sitting out there, F-105, Soviet Sukhois, Sukhoi 38s, MiG-21s, just sitting around the grass area there, no big deal. And I'm getting facetious when I say no big deal, but it's like he's got so much stuff in here. Him being Del Smith, who owns all of this. This is all his. These are all his toys. One man has built this museum. I mean, this is going to be his legacy. He's 83 years old. I was talking to the guys at Evergreen, and they said he's still sharp as can be. Comes in when he's in a meeting. There's no BS going on. You can't pull anything over him. His body's wearing out, but he's sharp as a tack, and he still comes into the office and is involved in running his airline. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, when I worked for Evergreen, he really started in helicopters and crop dusting and supporting the logging industry. He had the largest civilian fleet of helicopters in the world. At that time, he had 200 and some helicopters, so bigger than any company, privately held company, had then. I think there are bigger ones now, but 200 helicopters is still a lot of helicopters for one guy to own, even by today's standards, that's for sure. And wow, when I was in here earlier today, I didn't see this. Oh my gosh. A British, oh wait, this is a 47, a P-47. I thought it was a Spitfire. But it's the P-40, excuse me. I'll bet you there's an ME-109 coming up. Here's one of my favorites, the P-38 Lightning, the twin engine. This thing was just an incredible aircraft, mainly used in the Pacific because of range, when you're out over water and, just needed good range. But this was a heck of a performing airplane, even by today's standards. And here is the famous Spitfire, that British fighter, kind of equivalent, or their equivalent of the P-51 Mustang. And here's a German ME-109, which that was their equivalent there again of the the Spitfire and or the P-51. This is, you've heard of the Battle of Britain. This is what the British were contending with, other than the bombers and all that, but this is what they were going head to head with in these Spitfires. They were fighting against these ME-109s. Let's get a quick shot of this motorcycle. Era, World War II. It looks like it's brand new. You probably can't tell from the, and I'll swing it around here, from the video, but literally looks like it's brand new, like it could be sitting in a showroom. I'm going to keep walking. There's a P, or the F4 Wildcat, I think it was called. This is what, if you saw that show Baba Black Sheep, this is what he flew. The Marines flew these. Boyington, who was a Marine ace, kind of a wild guy back in the day, but a great pilot, and he flew a bunch of kind of crazy guys that didn't believe in, order and the military way of doing it. They were out there in the Pacific on an island and just shooting down Japanese airplanes, and yep, the Corsair. And it had the wings, the ones that would go on ship. The wings could fold up for storage, so you could get more of them on there. And like I said, my arm's starting to get tired. I'm going to do the best I can here, but pretty quick I'm going to be shutting this video down. I actually did a lot more than I thought I was going to do. I'm just glad this sounds bad, but kind of glad the meeting didn't go too long, so we had a chance to come back to the museum. And he's got tanks outside and half tracks, and this is probably a vehicle that towed airplanes back in the day, and you can see all the seats in here for people who like to relax and sit, or all out of airplanes. How you doing? Good.
Good.
Great museum. Awesome. Awesome. And here, oh my God, I didn't see this the last time I was in here. Here is the first operational jet fighter or military operational aircraft, the ME-262. Papa remembers seeing these at the end of the war, occasionally coming in and firing at their squadrons of bombers, B-17s, the Messerschmitt 262. The Germans were obviously quite a bit ahead in technology with what they produced, but what they were trying to do towards the end of the war was use technology to defeat, well, sheer numbers actually. A lot of what they did was like the secret, or the big weapon that could just, a few V2s could change the course of the war, and that being that they were losing, which that didn't end up working. It's probably like the cliche, a little too little too late, but still devastating, and thank God it didn't work, the technology, else we'd all be speaking German. So I'm just kind of moseying here. I don't know where Mo is. He's over there somewhere, I'm sure. We're getting kind of hungry, or at least I am. We had a good breakfast this morning, but that was many hours ago. We drove down from Portland. We flew in yesterday and through Boise, Idaho. Landed in Portland. We're staying downtown, the Hilton downtown, off Broadway and 6th Avenue. Nice hotel. Had a nice dinner last night at a little local place. I can't remember the name of it. But, it was South Park, because I was joking with them about the cartoon. Lots of seafood. I had a steak. And now I'm pointing towards, you probably can't see it, but upstairs there's a gun collection. His son, which is a long story, but was killed, kind of the apple of his eye, or his pride and joy. He was an F-15 pilot with the Oregon National Guard here, who would have certainly been the heir apparent to the airline. His twin brother, who is more of a race car driving kind of wild guy, playboy, who has no interest in aviation at all. Mike Smith, Mark Smith, the F-15 pilot, was killed in a car accident. This has been probably 20 years ago now. But anyway, this up here says the Captain Michael King, his middle name King, Smith's firearms collection. So he was a gun collector also. I haven't seen that, so I'm going to walk up here in a minute, but I'm sure it's as impressive as his collection of airplanes. A lot of these airplanes he flew, Mike Smith, when he was alive, and a lot of them have his name on it, near the cockpit like they do. Captain Mike Smith, P-51, Captain Mike Smith, B-17. I mean, if you were into aviation like he was, unlike his twin brother Mike, how fortunate to be born into a family that, well, I mean, happens to own an airline and happens to own a museum with, with every kind of airplane you could ever imagine. I just can't get over the spruce goose. I just keep filming it, I know, but it's just incredible how big it is. Well, I think I'll shut the camera off for now. One more little pan at the ceiling, and then I'll start it up with the guns. Guns and airplanes, man. Doesn't get much better than this. B-17, and I mean, think about it. I'm in a building that's got a B-17 in it. Well, not to mention the spruce goose. Incredible.